They say imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, but how much flattery do these game developers feel? Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 most cloned video games. For this list, we're looking at the games that were well known for having every up-and-coming developer and their mom try to cash in on the original's popularity. For the record, we're not saying that every game that was spawned from these originals were bad, as there were quite a few good gems to emerge every once in a while. Nevertheless, these were the originals, so enjoy. Number 10, Flappy Bird. You can't download the original anymore, so someone's bound to make a clone, am I right? In early 2014, its creator removed the game from mobile app stores due to feeling guilty about the addictive nature of the game or some assets that he stole, depending on who you ask. Players enjoyed the super simple yet difficult gameplay, which tapped into the just one more game mentality. At its peak of popularity, the game was being cloned about 60 times a day. It got so bad that both Google and Apple started rejecting games with the word Flappy in the title. For new players looking to try the addictive experience, you'll have to resort to less mobile methods, such as buying Amazon Fire TV, or make your way to the Flappy Bird arcade game. Or, then again, you could just play one of the clones, they're just as good. Number 9, Super Metroid. How do you do a follow-up to one of the most critically acclaimed games of all time? Well, an 8-year hiatus would be an interesting move. Super Metroid was extremely influential to developers, even though fans would not get another set of games in the series until 2002. So, in the meantime, it was hard not to find games that were inspired by it. Alongside Castlevania Symphony of the Night, Super Metroid spawned the subgenre known as Metroidvania, games that weaved together action, exploration, and plenty of room to experiment for a gripping experience. This style of game has seen a modern resurgence with developers adding their own unique take on the genre, so when you hear Metroidvania, you're likely to get something pretty good. Number 8, Medal of Honor. This game has the honor of starting the long trend of World War II shooters. Its tight level design, gameplay, and realistic graphics made it the game to beat.
Let's get the hell out of here! We gotta jump, son! We wait for the green light!
One of the most notable games inspired by the series was Call of Duty, created by Infinity Ward, a team made up of developers who had previously worked on Medal of Honor Allied Assault. They later started a trend of modern-day military shooters that were highly successful, with Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. So, wouldn't you know it, the Medal of Honor series rebooted in 2010 to take place in the modern-day setting. So, who's copying who now? Number 7, Bejeweled.
Go.
This has been the puzzle game to match since its release. Bejeweled popularized the tile-matching puzzle genre and continued to be the most dominant series for quite a while. But some people speculate that its dominance is the result of it coming out before the competition could. Either way, it's hard to argue against the fact that it's one of the most polished and quality games of the genre. Other games like Puzzle Quest, Challenge of Warlords, and Candy Crush Saga have since innovated on the genre by adding more basic gameplay, namely paywalls. Still, there is something to be appreciated in Bejeweled's zen-like simplicity. Number 6, Mortal Kombat. With all the blood and body parts flying around, Mortal Kombat was certain to make a splash on the industry. The digitized violence made it a very controversial and, wouldn't you know it, popular game.
Johnny Cage wins.
Unfortunately, all that guts and gore is where most imitators put their focus. Once you got past the pixelated blood, at the core of Mortal Kombat was a fairly decent fighting game. Many of its imitators failed to deliver on gameplay and were critically panned as a result.
Show no mercy! Ha! Ha!
Some even failed to see release, like Tattoo Assassins and Thrill Kill. Mortal Kombat had its fair share of clones, but none of them could perform a fatality on the long-lasting franchise.
Sub-Zero wins.
Number 5, Space Invaders. This is the influential arcade classic that showed that games could give other media a run for their money. Its designer clearly faced technical limitations which brought in innovative new ideas. For example, destroying enemy aliens lightened the load on the given hardware's processor. This inadvertently sped up the game and its music to create a thrilling difficulty curve. Its popularity led to some direct clones, and eventually would pave the way for what we now know as the shoot-'em-up genre, also thanks in part to games like Galaxian, which built upon the foundations of the genre. Still, you can clone a game, but it's not easy to clone its legacy, and no one's done that with Space Invaders. Number 4, Grand Theft Auto 3. Many games that came after this one have driven away with its blueprint for modern game design. An open world to explore, a main storyline, a few thousand things to do on the side, and a bit of driving. However, I guess that last point depends on whether or not your character is a normal person or superhero.
Well, that's good, right?
Yes, except it's collapsing faster than anticipated.
Grand Theft Auto 3's success has led to quite a few imitators. Eventually, games from different genres were able to take on parts of the formula and successfully make it their own. The series continues to be some of the highest-selling video games of all time. So, when it comes to financial returns, the criminal shenanigans of Grand Theft Auto seem to still be on top. Number 3, Minecraft. When a game starts getting popular, sometimes you've got to build on your own version. It was definitely not hard to find similarly styled survival and building games. However, Minecraft's gameplay is not the only thing that inspired developers, as it also popularized an alternative funding model for video games. You see, Minecraft was purchasable through its alpha and beta stages to help further fund its development. This proved to be very successful, encouraging other indie developers to give that a shot. Minecraft is still vastly more popular than its competition, though, showing it has a sturdy foundation that is yet to be toppled. Number 2, Super Mario Kart. This was the party to be at before Mario Party. Super Mario Kart is credited with creating the kart racing subgenre, and many other kart racers have tried to emulate the game to varying degrees of success. But it wasn't just throwing franchise mascots into go-karts that made this game successful. It was the simple yet deep gameplay that feels rewarding to players of any skill level, which naturally explains the abundance of copycats that you can now find. Once you understand on a technical level how they made such an exciting racing game, it's no wonder that Mario Kart holds the pole position among kart racers. Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Number 1, Doom. It's all in the name. Similar games after the release of this doozy were all referred to as Doom clones. It established many of the genre's conventions, such as a variety of weapons to choose from, networked multiplayer, and cheat codes. But, of course, the big one is the first-person perspective and the shooting, come on. Anyway, some of these clones did successfully create franchises of their own, which in turn led to the decline of the phrase Doom clone and the rise of the term first-person shooter. In all fairness, id Software also licensed their engine to other developers, so the label was a bit unjust. By 1998 though, these games were regularly known as they are today, as first-person shooters. But many FPS games later, many fans would find it hard to shake off the adrenaline-fueled magic of this original classic. Thanks for watching Mojo Plays. Be sure to subscribe and click on the link in the description below to check out our suggestion page and vote on what content you'd like to see us cover next.